Hello and welcome to a session I'm calling the only 3 Pilates moves you'll ever need. I know it's a bit of a long title, but you get the point. And the great thing is you don't need anything except a mat to accomplish this session. We'll begin lying down, stretching out the arms and legs. Let's bend one knee into the chest. Wrap the arms around that knee and circle the ankle around a few times, warming up through the body. Inhale and expand into that total body stretch. And then leg number 2, bending it in, wrapping hands around the knee and circling the ankle 8 times one direction, 8 times the other. Hug it in a little closer and revisit that total body stretch. Bring arms down, hugging both knees into the chest. Let's rock it out side to side across that low back as we inhale deeply and exhale completely. Knees bent, feet hip-width apart onto the mat. Hands behind the head. Let's begin with an ab curl, using this move as a preparation for our first exercise of the series. Exhale, curl up and inhale down. Exhale, flex the abs and curl up. Inhale down. Let's try lifting one leg up to tabletop and then the other as we maintain the ab curl. Looking forward, nodding the chin. Exhale, tabletop, and exhale, tabletop. Float both legs into tabletop and continue the ab curl. Legs are nice and steady. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, down. Hovering above the ground and exhale, curling up again. Squeeze legs together. Stay here at the top, extend one leg straight and then the other, visiting our single leg stretch, toes point, curl up a little higher, and now let's move into our crisscross. Move number 1, twisting towards that bent knee, opposite leg shooting out long and strong. Twist and keep those legs active. Abdominals engaged, breath flowing. Now hold the twist and reach that arm to the outside of the bent knee as the straight leg lifts and lowers, adding a variation into our crisscross. Switch sides. Extend the arm to the outside of that bent knee as the straight leg lifts to the sky and hovers above the ground. 3 or 4 times. Come back to the center, tabletop legs, curl up a little higher. And release. Good job. Rock it out side to side, hugging knees in. Bottoms of the feet together. Moving from side to side in our reclined butterfly, rolling out through the feet, releasing any tension in the legs and hips. Total body stretch. Reach a little longer, breathe in deeper. Knees bent, feet onto the mat. Exercise number 2. Arms by the side. Warm up the spine with pelvic tilts and pelvic tucks, lifting tailbone up, letting low back deepen into the mat and dropping tailbone down, lifting low back away from the mat, reaching arms to the sky, palms facing in. Let's move into our bridge roll. Tailbone up, sacrum peels away from the mat. Lower back down, let the arms reach overhead and then peel, tailbone, low back, middle back up into bridge. Arms lift to the sky. Lower the arms overhead as we roll back down through the spine. I'm lifting the toes from the floor, keeping balls of the feet and heels anchored down. pointing kneecaps forward, keeping abdominals engaged and head right in the center. Exhale, tip the tailbone up, roll up into bridge, roll down through the spine. Try to be sequential through the vertebrae, inch by inch. As you tip the tailbone up, you're flexing those abs, keeping abdominals engaged. Stay at the top for pulses. Down an inch and up an inch, arms nice and still, squeezing in. Maintain your bridge lift and let's scissor those arms. Slice and inhale and exhale. Add a double pulse, pulse, then switch the arms. Pulse, pulse, and switch. Reach arms up to the sky and slow motion lower the back and hips down and find your total body stretch. Shake out the knees and breathe in. Reach arms up and forward as we roll all the way up, sitting up tall and folding over those legs at the top. Inhale to look up and exhale, folding over the legs. Looking from side to side and then folding forward. Looking down to the legs. Moving into our third exercise. Coming down onto your front body into a prone position, we'll set up for the Swan. A nice spinal extension to complement all of that spinal flexion. Take the legs mat width apart, soft pointed toes, open up the elbows wide to the side. Peel the upper middle spine away from the ground. Peeling up, inhale, exhale down, inhale at the bottom. Exhale up, inhale at the top, and exhale down, inhale at the bottom. Try to let the spine, the core, initiate the move with the breath. The arms are just decoration, not doing very much work. Moving the arms a little bit closer as long as you're not shrugging the shoulders. And pressing on up, let's squeeze the glutes gently at the top and release, lengthening the spine forward. Keep the legs still but active. Hold at the top now for looks over one shoulder and then the other. Alternate and alternate, look and look. Come to the center to look up to the sky and then lowering down. Let's reach those arms forward. And let's float arms and legs, lifting and floating above the ground for a moment. Before stacking, hands resting forehead on top, knees bent, let's sway those legs out side to side, releasing any tension in the hips and low back. Elbows under the shoulders, curl the toes, come up into elbow plank. Nod the chin, deepen abdominals. Breathe as you press back into heels. Drop knees down to the mat. Let's sit to those heels, child's pose. Stretch it out for a few breaths. Walk the hands in, roll up through the spine. Circle the shoulders up, back, around, and down a few times. We're going to revisit each one of those moves one more time for a variation. Find your way into a seated position. Float the legs above the ground, holding those hamstrings. Have space behind you on your mat. Reach the arms, and slowly, with control, let's lower down into that total body stretch. Breathe in and reach it out. Hands behind the head. Bend the knees, feet hip width apart on the mat. Exhale, curl up. ab curl. Float the legs up into tabletop. Let's twist to that bent knee as the opposite leg extends forward. Establish your crisscross. And now extend both legs straight up to the sky and twist from side to side, instigating from your midsection to lift the upper body up and away from the mat. Keep the legs straight as they scissor and continue to twist towards that top leg. Legs straight and strong. Let's try feet flexed as we twist and twist. Inhale and exhale. And keep one leg up, the other leg down. Reach that opposite arm to the outside of that top leg as leg number 2 lifts and lowers. Take it to the other side. Twist, extend the opposite arm to the outside of that top leg, and the lower leg lifts and hovers above the ground. 3 or 4 times, come back to the center. Hold both legs strong to the sky, come up a little higher, and release. Total body stretch. Breathe into the ribs. Reach one leg longer than the other. Bend the knees, feet onto the mat, arms by the side. And that second exercise, the bridge. Lifting the hips up and down, neutral spine now. Lifting up in one piece and lowering down in one unit. Floating toes above the ground if you can. Now stay here at the top. Try to keep those hips even as one leg lifts to tabletop and lowers down, then the other leg lifts and lowers. Exhale up and inhale down. Exhale up and inhale down. Keep hips up, abdominals in. Float one leg to tabletop and stretch that leg straight to the sky as we lower that leg halfway down and lift back up again, pointing toes and flexing the foot. Through tabletop, let's place the foot back to the ground. Keep the hips high, maintain bridge. Leg number 2 floats through tabletop, extends to the sky. Now point the toes to lower the leg and flex the foot to lift the leg. Controlled leg kicks halfway down and floating up 3 or 4 times. Through tabletop, place that foot down. Keep the hips lifted and arms reach to the sky. Let's repeat those scissoring arms as we maintain the bridge position. Shoulder blades press down. Add the double pulse in the scissoring arms. Pulse, pulse, and switch. Arms reach to the sky, slow motion lowering of those hips. Take the feet mat width apart and let's sway the knees side to side, twisting and releasing. Bend both knees in. Hands on the hamstrings, rocking it out from side to side. Total body stretch, arms and legs are energized. As we exhale, belly button in, let's roll up to sitting. Shoulders on top of the hips. Inhale to the sky and exhale, fold over the legs. Forward bend. Inhale to lift the heart up. Exhale to fold in, looking from side to side. Releasing any tension or tightness in the neck. Roll back up, sitting tall. And let's swivel, maneuvering ourselves into our final third exercise, the Swan. Stretch the legs back behind you, toes softly pointed, and face is hovering above the ground, looking down. Inhale, let's revisit that swan dive up, this time engaging glutes and legs to lift the legs as we lower the chest and face down. Like a rocking chair, upper body lifts and lowers, and legs lift and lower. We'll be putting this move together into the classical expression of the swan. Requires a little bit of momentum and really engaged muscles. Exhale, press up, and then reach the arms forward as you lift those legs up behind you. Place the hands back down again. Try 3 or 4 in a row. Hold here at the top, looking from side to side. Shoulders away from the ears, and then lower everything down. Rest the forehead on top of those hands, bend the knees. Let's rock it out side to side, releasing hips and back and glutes and shoulders. Stretch the legs back behind you. Set the elbows underneath the shoulders. Curl the toes and pick up the midsection and legs, elbow plank. Head and neck in line with the spine. Breathe in and out. Press the palms down where the elbows were into your higher plank. And pike the hips to the sky, downward dog. Drop heels. Gentle squeeze across the shoulder blades. Maybe lifting toes, walking hands back into forward bend, folding over the legs. Bend the knees and slowly roll up to standing. Roll shoulders up, back, around, and down at the top. Concluding with some final closing breaths. Let's inhale, stretch up to the sky, looking high, and exhale, lowering arms down. Inhale up and exhaling down. Perfect timing. Mr. Baloo is here to congratulate me on an excellent session. Hoping that you find those 3 moves as valuable to your body as I do. Enjoy. Till next time.